Schaefer, away!
Hello everyone and good evening. Welcome to Critscast. We've got some more East Well Highlander action coming at you today. So make sure you got your refreshments ready for some more of this Highlander action. Looking forward to this Vigil match between Samsung Galaxy Gang and Envision. Very interesting merch for you to check out as well. And also keep eyes peeled for more Highlander action as well, as the season is nowhere near over.
Long story short, two pretty hardened veteran teams here going onto a more maybe unfamiliar playground, so we'll see how that ring out.
Well, I'll have to see if SDG can give them a run for their money, but looking into the rosters for SDG before we get into the game, looks like we're going to have Scout. It's going to be Pajaka with Dima coming back on Soldier, long-time player, with Delt on Pyro, Sammy on Demo this time, with Blur on Heavy, Big Arm Rambo on NG, with Jorge on Medic, Nutri on Sniper, and then Sneaky is going to be playing Spy.
On the side of Envision, it will be, check that back, Soldier will be KWQ, or as Jake who once told me, it is Kafka on the Soldier class, Tercio on Pyro, Stan the Demo Man, Stan with a plan, Stan the man with a lot of pipe hits. Barthis on Heavy, Essex on Engineer, Fishka or Xio or, well, on the Medic class, Stinghan, the Manager, the leader as well on Sniper, and Jurkas, who has definitely performing this season so far on Spy. Big shout out to Core, who is producing right now from Australia at around 5 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how much more committed you can get as a human being, honestly.
Actual Giga Chats, right? Commitment. So this is the commitment that we bring you, Critscast. So make sure you give everyone big shout outs and love in the chat and show your support. But looks like we are going to be going live. So this will be first round of Vigil with Samsung Galaxy Gang or SGG against Envision. Going forward to, but I mean, my predictions for this game. I mean, I'd argue that SGG are the underdogs here, since Envision have been runners-up for so long and had so much of a presence in Prem. Even with like some of the changes to their roster, like Pajaka now on Scout, as he's played like Heavy in the past, and oh well, I'm looking at the wrong roster. I'm an idiot. Sam on Scout, so same thing though. So Scout difference and other players as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of come together here, especially on the payload where you need so much coordination, timing the offenses.
Hosting is difficult, chat. I'm just going to point that out though. Go for analysis. You can just sit in the background and do cheeky comments right now, though. Jorge used a crit streak there, used 2 crit streak even, but got some crit shenanigans onto Sammy, who hit his crit stickies there on the first point, trying to get anyone out there really, but the gates are going to open up in 5 seconds, and we have SGG against Envision here onto PL Vigil. The first sort of 1/3 of this first point will probably be not of any contestation whatsoever. Sam dies to 1 sticky trap. Sometimes you want to get a bit more there, really, on the sort of, as a counter benefit there, or just with a sticky trap. But yeah, I mean, Scout is the first one to go down.
Yeah, you also notice, the first stack comes in actually, but I was going to say, you'll notice that the gun is a bit forward on this box, but I mean, they're doing this relatively passive hold. Lots of damage coming in though, nice bombing from Katka. Just trying to initiate there with the help of his Demo, so trying to pressure them out. Demo almost goes down, but they do lose Rambo, which is actually pretty critical here, but importantly not giving up the Uber, which is kind of the whole point of this passive hold. But yeah, we'll kind of delay Rambo getting his level 3 up, which may impact them if Envision are quite faster.
Definitely seems to be the core of just giving this up. We usually also see this from Swiftwater, and there is some potential maybe to this forward, but they did not opt to do it, so full Ubers on both sides right now. Sting peeking there a bit on this side lawn, but staying forward on the hill themselves are Envision as the big pick there going to come in onto Envision. Sorry, I mixed them up as well. Onto SGG, they're doing this defense quite nicely here. Only Stingen is really peeking forward as the card is slowly getting pushed through Moria, or through the mines of Moria rather, as Demoman though, Sammy, big opener.
Oh, he can't be doing that. Just lets the Spire straight through to show, unfortunately, not getting able to deny the spot onto Stingham's back. And there we go, Barthas goes down as well. So they're getting some decent picks, SGG on this hillside. As, Tisha still staying near the medic here. But Ace is getting some decent cart time here. Just trying to push that round the corner, but we'll have to kind of give it up as he's peeking Rambo's gun. And they decide to trade Rubers here, but Stang gets through down to the low ground and just goes down.
way better Uber management right there out of SGG as they're going to chase the spy away. In the backlands there's where Yoka's going to get killed there by Dima, and Barthus still tries to knock something up from the side tunnel. This side tunnel is really open for a flank to push in. They tried to do that as a juxtaposition to their combo, but it managed to only make them use early there themselves, since the combo had to push to the hill, and this very defensive hold there really from SGG rained all the damage down from them. And right now trying to do this again, but Stan is always the one who suffers from this forward aggression without any sort of backup.
Yeah, this is the problem with this hill push as well. You've got this like sort of little roof position that not only sort of helps get some high ground to the tunnel pressure, but also enables like people to sort of jump up and flank onto the forward aggression. So Vijaka definitely making use of that, and it's also what used from the soldier as well. So Civ uses it later on. But I think I'm trying his best to try and peek the hill here. Some spam coming over the top of the roof from Stan, but he's taking so much damage.
And they're still just watching there. They're trying to get someone working there. Really, their positions out. SX is going to get cleaned up as well. The cardboard's back as well. Stan once again juggled onto the slow ground. Going to get easily cleaned up there by Vijaka by the flank. The spy is going to come in though with a little heavy. This guy is going to uncloak in a nick of time, but no one really there to find. Only Vijaka with his scatter gun there, and they seem to lose the flank all that easy, and they don't even have cap time where they do these pushes, so they don't get any ground on either flank here right now.
Yeah, and catch out Yoka as well. Actually managed to kind of run away, but I mean, yeah, Nutri's coming back from the spawn as well, so love that slight pressure onto the hill. I like this gun position from Rambo actually. It's getting spammed a bit by Kapka, but I mean, it's kind of covering the tunnel and the hill at the same time, but they're so forward with the help of the conch coming out here from Dima on top of this hillside, and it's making it very awkward for Envision to try and push this. They don't have that many people here, and yeah, this is the risk. You see, not many people here means that the conch kind of comes in behind. They've been doing a lot of damage through the tunnel,
but
almost pressuring the medic. Oh god.
Barthus came in from the high ground. Jorge was so far committed in, and the heavy there snuck in the biggest and meatiest body of them all, as only Deity is right now in a position, by the way, that is called barbecue. I really like this sort of side place there. Gets juggled out though, crucially survives, but they lost their medic there, so 100% right now, 100 Uber advantage to the offending team, who struggled on the second point for some time, but usually you see that as well. You can compromise the situation when you just get it rolling on the rest of the map, but Sneaky going to sneak and kill double combo players there, Tercio and Stan, so instantly sort of slowed down again. Maybe they have some time to do a suicide wave because they have 50% disadvantage right now.
Yeah, they do, yeah, they're going to try and pressure with this advantage, as you mentioned, so we'll have to see if they try and just W key around this sort of slope area with their demo. Stan's looking for it, but he needs to be careful of Nutri. He's been popping Stan's head a few times. Sneaky goes for Stingan pick. Stingan separated from his team for a second there. Sneaky taking advantage, so they do have a bit of a sniper on this defense. Uber comes in, but it's absolutely atrocious. Nobody grabbing any frags at all. Blur is still staying aggressive here. Maybe a bit of overextension, but either way, it doesn't really matter because they're able to just sort of solidify position again.
Especially since they didn't take any sort of other routes, you need to take the high ground, but Vijaka controlled that very nicely. Usually as a combo, you want to distract the focus from the objective, but the issue is as a combo right here on the second point, you're going to push from the exact same location that the objective is on, so the defensive team just has to look at the exact same scenario and moment there as everyone walks in through main, but very, very easily denied there. Really, they didn't have any sort of focus call there or aggression, chase potential. Pyro just stood there, Tercio going to get killed there, but this second point seems to be very, very volatile as all the players are getting cleaned up though. It is only Stan really forward, but they're going to push it eventually in, but the steps come in. The push comes in as well. Fishka is so exposed here on the Strax area.
Yeah, I'm amazed they haven't chased it further with this. As soon as Demon's Conch got popped, I'm surprised they didn't just all kite that further back. Like, not only having the demo spam the slope, but also the soldier on that corner as well. You've got two spam classes spamming that sort of slope choke, makes it very difficult. And Rambo's actually moved his gun a bit more forward here. He's going to pull it back though, just in time. Manages to leave it just for the sort of Uber to soak up some of the damage, but they repositioned there. But managed to just sort of, I don't know, to sort of W key their way in there as Blur's going to sort of delay his death potentially. No, he manages to run away just about.
They managed nicely to vanish out of their SGG, but they're still so far committed on this Strax area, almost fell victim to some forward aggression there and going to peek very aggressively forward. Jorge has this Uber advantage, but he's going to get bombed right there. Holds on though, defended by his team, and all this aggression from the Strax area nullified for the moment. Stingham taking some huge shots there as well, but Barthus and Dima, no, who's a Blur and Dima going to walk through this orange room, going to chase them out of the mob room, how it is called. So orange room wins over map room because you have this sort of high ground there, but very aggressive play stance there really from the defensive team.
Yeah, Demon's been pretty critical in this defense so far. Like he's not running. He's interestingly not running Black Box with the conch. He's just running the original. So obviously just opting for that extra rocket for more spam, and also the ability to like counter bomb if he needs to. So it's definitely working out for him. As he did manage to get caught off though by the huge rotation coming in from the whole team basically. From Envision as Stan's kind of facing his back to the sniper, trying to bait with the sniper, but yeah, Stinghan does manage to get picked off there by Nutri to a body shot as they've got an Uber here, but it's Uber as well for the defense, so they've got to see if it's a trade here.
I raised the question early on there if Nutricala would be up to the challenge. He's on a 6k right now. He had some great sniper showdowns, but Caster's Curse, he gets stepped down there by Jokas, who was on a 3k himself, so both Ubers are up and they have the opening as the defensive sniper is just instantly down, but going to jump there, just Dima, I think that was on the Kafka on the sentry gun. So much aggression going to come in. No one really dying there on the defense. Deity also trying to blast them away from this Uber. The Uber is sort of equal, but the flank is going to come in there with Dima. A really big reflect as well from Deity onto Stan.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't manage to kite that out probably as fast as they wanted to. They kind of committed for Rambo's gun. Now Rambo's actually gone to minis, interestingly enough, but he might opt to choose back. Now that he knows the pressure's off, as I think he will do. But yeah, Kafka's trying to spam through this main area. They do get some card progress, but they need to get up this little ramp here before they can really commit for anything. But yeah, another conch comes out here, and again they lose Stan. Stan's also on quickies, which I'm not really a fan of, like just through these chokes. So let's just see if that gives him any assistance in the long range damage instead. But yeah, again, Envision back to square one.
They should have felt sort of comfortable. I feel like I mean 6 points, it was 6 minutes rather for 3 points, but right now we are reaching and knocking onto that infamous last point, which might be a bit harder to push, especially since this little card has to go up the ramp, because otherwise it's just going to roll down and is only getting... When you push it, it rolls quite slow compared to the other maps, and it seems like it, at least, but Nutricala going to get stepped down there a little bit on the flank. Both Ubers once again up, and we have to see how they want to push this in the counter phase.
Sneaky manages to kill Stan as they get Nutri picked, and Jorge goes down as well. Dude, Jokas is just taking Envision on his back, trying to find something, and they're going to go in here without a demo. You're trying to deal with this gun. The gun takes up the entire duration of the Uber. They're gonna get their spawners in now on this defense. They're pushing the car, but yeah, the flank comes in. Like, Demo's still alive. Sammy's just spamming the car. I don't know whether that was a bit like too eager from them. I really feel like they needed the demo there to try and knock out the spawns and try and get the car pressure.
I think you need to play this really rather slow. You need more card time. They had around a 5 or 10 second window there where they didn't have card time. They didn't lock off the spawns there, and Sneaky is going to come in there from the tracks, going to shut Stinghan out, but essentially the defensive demo man there, Sammy, being on this sort of cafe flank area, able to rain all the stickies down, even though the offensive team had this much better Uber early on though, but they're just going to walk on the tracks area. So much card time, really, and all the frags are going to fall in the favor of the defensive team so far, but Kafka as well on the card that can sometimes be a liability.
Not gonna lie, Sammy with some very critical pipes there, landing them when he needed to, and also Rambo being pretty clutch to just try and get on the cart there in the last second, just trying to body block Kafka from getting the cap time, and yeah, for now they're okay. They do have the Uber as well, so Jorge definitely in a better position, as Blur's going to be sort of opting for that cart defense as he managed to get Jokas away from the area.
Jokas should have sacrificed his life there for the cart, because right now the cart was back. It's probably even going to slide down all this ramp. He was found out anyway. He got flamed out, tried to escape, but didn't manage to just throw his life there undisguised on the cart. Boring spy main car, but this is what you see. The cart right now rolls down. It's going to make it bad for Versal. Nutricala is definitely onto Stinghan, has Stinghan's number as the upper hand here, no pun intended, on the sniper versus sniper.
Yeah, and you'll notice that the car has just gone down the slope again as well, so they're going to try and push that up again with another push, and this time Rambo's actually still opting for the minis here, just for the constant pressure that's coming in. Nice pipe though. They managed to catch Blur there, or actually no, quickie bomb, so yeah, that far range damage coming in a bit there for Stan. As he manages to push the car here, they need to rotate to actually deny this. Uber comes out, might be a bit of a bait here. Fishka sort of running away here, managed to just kite that Uber out, and a decent kite play, but never mind, they lose Stan, they delay their push again with this Uber ad.
But we have to see, maybe they want to take a different route. They always tried it with their head against the wall, basically, through the main area. Nutricala on a 4K, shutting Stinghan down. I'm just calling how he is winning the sniper with sniper fights, and it enables his team to walk forward. There's so much damage, you don't really see a defensive team playing this far forward, but even gets follow-up foot touch, body shot, their stand consistently dying.
Oh, and they get the force! Fishka, nice play from the Spy there and the Pyro adults, and Sneaky managed to find a way in. And again, Sneaky managed to find a stab onto Stingan in the middle of the scout. And the spawn is coming in through the telly. I don't know why Fishka's still here. Like, this is very risky. I'd be way out by now. They haven't really got anyone blocking the orange rotation. And there we go. Dima gonna be trying to peek that as the spam eventually manages to come back in from Stan. He manages to live for more than 10 seconds. So, yeah, let's try and get the push in again. But they're going to be fighting into an Uber and a Conch now.
It's only 1.5 minutes left. This sort of tilt worthy as well for teams where it's a psychological disadvantage if you struggle so much on a certain point and afterwards you just say, wow, map is bad, but maybe the abstract issues are not so abstract after all, since they were very negligent there on the card and could have definitely pushed it in earlier on, but right now having to wait for their Uber, it is only 20% that separates them from this next push, which definitely needs to do a huge amount of work, since we're knocking on 1 minute here. Stingan still peeking forward, but the flank perpetually dying. Semi so far forward with these pipes. No irony involved. Iron Bomber is going to very much put a big dent into your efforts of pushing this forward.
I really feel like they just need to put more pressure through main instead of trying to go to the outside and then try and get like a main sight line over the top of the cart for Sting and pressure Sammy out like there. There we go. Sammy eventually goes down there. Like they should have done that way earlier, trying to punish him, I feel like. Long respawn for him as well, like 17 seconds. They've decided to Uber in now. Got the Scout Uber as well, but they're going to be going into a defensive Uber and another Conch from Dima. I feel like Dima just has Conch constantly. Like, it's so impactful for the movement speed just to get in and out of these fights. And there we go, 3 going down already as Sammy gets to spawn in.
Absolute cleanup there on the flank as well. Lately walking into this sort of flank area on the grass side, but Stingan even then only going to find Pijaka, who pistols and scatterguns him down easily. Nutricula and an 8k. It seems like the 3rd consecutive 8k on this defense. Honestly, he is further down there, but he definitely put his mark there onto the game, especially against Stingan. They only have 5 seconds here, really. It is definitely clutch them. They have to be way more forward. They have sort of 5 seconds to play there as overtime on the card. Sam is going to walk on that card. It's the only real clutch Uber exchange, or even not even with Uber, just a Pyro. They're going to ruin their fun, and 10k almost there for the defensive sniper.
Wow, I didn't actually realize Sneaky was on like 45 points. They're actually 2nd top scoring underneath his medic. So I mean,
double points for
to let the Spy have that much pressure, like wow. I mean, he just farmed Stingan on that last point as well. Like Stingan only on 13 points, really needs help to try and get some space in here and like give him some better buffs and some better sightlines to work with, because at the moment they are just really struggling against Nutri and Sneaky, as well as Sammy just like constantly putting out this spammer. Stan needs to try and live more as well, I feel.
But right there, the crystal ball that we talked about and sort of look into the future sort of reigned true. I mean, they sort of struggled there on the 2nd point, which we might have not expected all that much, but it was only minor struggles there. 3rd point was also maybe short-lived, considering that is 3rd. They got pressured out there when they tried to have one Uber exchange through tracks, but the push afterwards definitely helped them and get that rolling quite so fast. But then the last point there, where I sort of pointed out the Spy should maybe throw his life away to reset the card, and then they just never really had any sort of emphasis on that card when they pushed in. Probably need to lock off the spawns way more progressively instead of trying to get frags, because the defensive team just were able to kite that basically to their own flank. But I mean, on the other way around as well, though, they have to make amends.
I don't know if you saw that, but they had a telly that went back to like the passive hold, and Barthas like was meant to take it. I don't know why he had to stand next to it. Like he was a few steps away from it, ends up going down instead. But yeah, I mean, Hoy's actually out really early here. So I'll have to see if they can kind of pressure around this sort of long side with Blur. They're trying to just get some long range spamming, and there we go. So Delt and Sammy trying to pressure over the top of the hill. Get some decent spamming. Ooh, Fish taking a bit of damage there, but they're trying to just be a bit passive here, and they managed to pull the gun out.
Sneaky is playing a blind on them as well. Barthas only had sort of 5-second respawn, didn't really matter all that much, but Sneaky then again almost spawn camped him there and killed him consecutively as well. Dima into the skybox. Hello, I found the skybox. He's still going to survive though. Yoka's also going to pistol down Nutricula there in the backlines as well. Better Uber management right now out of Stan, or longer Uber duration, but they don't really have all that many players here. Heavy versus heavy showdown. Heavy damage going to rain down and might even momentarily secure them the 2nd point.
Yeah, I think Blur getting a bit too aggro there. I think he was feeling himself just a bit too much. Goes down there to a nice flash and fish actually to save Varthas on the side, but we're going to get some decent pressure in now. Sammy trying his best to spam them out. Varthas going to be trying to kill them for a bit, but Nutri ends that with a nice headshot. But they need to push the car up still, that's the problem. Like, they can get all this pressure as much as they want, but if the car's not moving, it doesn't really matter.
But their medic is on a long respawn, still 10 seconds on that one. Nutricula had scrutinized there, or had checked rather, the medic and the heavy. Definitely the biggest and most crucial picks here, especially for a sniper, and he's still alive. But they're sort of timid there, and sort of slow. Could have maybe taken this in with a dry push, but and with their heals up. But they are building this Uber up right now, and we'll have to see if they can make all that much out of this position that they're putting themselves into. Because right now the flank push is going to come.
Yeah, nice sort of side tunnel push there. Managed to kill basically everyone they need to in order to get this space in. Flank comes over the top as well to try and secure this cart space. As Jorge just going to be running into the sniper with the rest of his flanks and doesn't even care. No worries for him. And yeah, I mean, absolutely clinical
Wipe
push here going in. Jeez.
Full wipe. I was watching Jurkas because he sort of induced some PTSDs there into Blur, since he almost always shook his camera and his point of view around there, but Spy eventually going to get cleaned up there as well. But Tercio also on the concrete doorstep getting denied there. Nutricula once again on the field dominating the enemy Pyro there right now, and Varthas is staying so far on this concrete area, but through the dungeon comes Blur, getting some damage in as well. Varthas being so weak there, waiting for an arrow, but Nutricula re-peeks that sideline. Another pick, he's destroying them.
Yeah, Nutri definitely going off on one right here. Just managing to pressure out so many people and getting those picks as well. The pressure the car in as well. They got Nova to retaliate. Void's going to be going in with the rest of his team. Absolute slugfest. Only 1 point cap. They have 3 minutes to cap this 1 point. Wow. I mean, SGG just going huge on Vigil. What is happening?
SGG say, you can take the S, we take the GG. I mean, you can't sugarcoat it so far, or you can sugarcoat the offensive team rather. Nutricula definitely putting his mark on the game. The pushes and the Uber exchanges looked way cleaner there on the side of SGG as well, and Envision struggling all the time to get their sniper into position, to control the flanks, and to even get enough cap time to not make this such a ridiculous difficult to defend this, honestly. Maybe a bit later, as we're going live in the second round of PL Vigil, it will be SGG against Envision, and SGG being 1-0 up here, so Envision have to win the second round to get this to a best of 3 and claw some points for themselves back, as it is looking right now. If SGG take the second round, it will be a 6-0 and definitely puts them into a wonderful stat there for the playoff potentials and for their potential playoff spot. But what I alluded to beforehand, SGG need a bit more coordination with their flank coming in when the combo is pushing in. This map seems so narrowed down. You would think it's easier to get your flank into a more prominent position, since it's so narrow. It is not all that widely spread, this map, really, on the points itself.
Yeah, in terms of like the rotations, yeah, you'd expect that. I mean, yeah, with it being so narrow, people can kind of maneuver around a bit quicker. You can come back for buffs a bit quicker. You can teleport in, get to where you need to go. But I guess that also works in defense's favor as well, because it means that they only need to like move a few steps and then cover the other angle. So I guess it kind of works both ways. But yeah, going to the second round, definitely a lot of pressure on Envision here. Actually starting on the defense, opting for this passive hold once again. The A6 is going to sort of peeking this little sort of chicken wire fence thing. Seeing what's going on, it's going to start wrangling out, but yeah, no crit shenanigans by the looks of it, I don't think. But we've got a bit of a combo pressure coming in on this right side to start things off.
So if Envision have reset their mindset, then they should just focus on any point and say, we can do to them what they did to us on the last point, and get into this clutch hold, get into this crutch hold, get into this mental health destroying mode there right now. Though Sammy and Blur walking through this cliffside area with the combo and the sniper, really the classes that you want to protect your sniper, going to take all the space there. Nutricula fully buffed, almost fully buffed there as well. Barth is going to lose his head and absolute control really over this cliffside, but right now even the Force going to come out there, Stan jumping in.
Yeah, this is kind of why that push isn't really seen as much, or like, at least in my opinion, like, because if they're smart and they just decide to just go for a force there and you don't position like perfectly, your meds is going to end up forcing, and now they don't have an Uber to actually push into the second, so they do have that going for them here. Got a bit of a force coming in, maybe attempted from the soldier, but isn't going to find anything really from that. But yeah, we'll give them some time to set up here, having this defensive Uber.
Sneaker was on the gun and definitely called for Dima to jump in there, but not eventually getting a second point there onto the medic. Also, medic holding bravely on there. Going to get so aggressive here right now with the pyro or with the demo, even going to flash all the players around. They have to watch out that they don't lure themselves into very questionable decisions, but all the frags are going to come in through the mines area. Stingern popping Jorge's head open in the end as well.
I don't know why Jorge stood there for so long. I don't know whether he was like on the literal cusp of like rounding the corner. I doesn't actually see him as he like was trying to get around the corner, but yeah, I mean, bit of a disrespect there from Sting, and also yeah, Sting doing a very good job of actually coming down the hill to help with the push and actually get that frag. So it might be a bit of a hard reset coming in here. Decent ad as well going forward. It's going to be nice to hold with as they're trying to push this cart in. Got a bit of a scout 1v1 going on there, but just see if they can yeah, get things set up again and try and hold the rest of this hill.
Decently executed aggressive push out there. Right now they have this 20% advantage that they engineered themselves with this aggressive push, killing Jorge. Stinger able to knock himself up to a 4k. That's a 4k for the enemy team since they're so scared of him peeking his sidelines right now. So aggressive as well with a stand on this front line. They are taking the fight to them, and even in this sort of first-esque hold, all the stickies are going to lay around, though it is only Tercio who has to clean them up with a shotgun rather, and right now they're waiting for the offensive team to push in, since the defense team usually doesn't need to do anything. On the push out there, as Dingen is on a 5k, on the push out there it is important to see if a defensive team puts themselves into disadvantageous position. They're going to, yeah, walk off that conch from Kafka.
Bit of a weird position there for him. Not really sure why he committed himself to the tunnel, especially knowing that they didn't have a sight line to the hill. Like, they knew how far forward they were on the hill, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I mean, smart repositioning here. They lose 4 actually. Stinger even going down as well to Blur somehow. Just kind of overcommitting on the hill. So again, maybe a bit of disrespect there. Not really sure why they're disrespecting them that hard, but Ace6 Gun is still alive here, trying to defend this. With Kafka trying to just spam them out on the hill as much as he can. But yeah, with the demo coming in here with the sniper mid, it's going to be a bit hard. Nice sort of jump from Kafka to try and pressure them out. Going down a bit weak as the spawners come back in.
He is going to delay them on this card, and they're all going to get scrambled out. The spawns came in time. Only 2 and 3 really left alive. Yokas revolving down Jorge in the end as well. And it is right now the ball completely in the court of Envision as they are putting the psychological warfare into them. But Nutricula easy taking down the sniper with a sniper showdown Stinger. And that's gotta sting, man, as he falls down to the ground.
Yeah, Stinger's definitely warmed up though, so you know, we'd love to see him sort of do a bit more impact in this round so far. But holding this far forward with mid demo, okay, they have got Uber, but I don't know whether they need to force it out there. I mean, I feel like that was kind of just a free force. Jorge maybe going down here. He retreated to the tunnel. Why? Always trying to juke. Demo's trying to find something, and he eventually goes down. Oh, disrespect position again. Like, I don't know why he didn't just run fully out there. I feel like could have like surfed it out. But anyway, nice play there, just about from the defense.
Highly tentative play there, and once again, they're probably going to get their spawns in time. 5 seconds there. It seems like the spawns are so not even fast, but the offensive team needs to cover a lot of ground into all these damaged sources that are still up. Barthus being on a 4k himself, and 30% once again advantage onto Fishka, who is trusting into his team. For example, playing around this conch and playing around his demo man, walking forward. They have quite good reads onto these aggressive pushes out, but Nutricula shuts down Stinger.
I don't know why they're even peeking that aggro. Like, I mean, they could just bait him into that sight line so easily, and Sting has to just literally sit there and just wait for him to peek. But instead, they want to try and get even more aggressive, and they're starting to lose some people here. Although, I mean, well, almost lose some people, going down very weak. Flank goes down very weak as Sting and Spawn come back in. But yeah, Stan doing his best to just try and spam them out here through this choke. They're really putting a lot of pressure on News to try and get some pressure here. But I mean, even so, they're getting a lot of time off this point. In fairness, it's taking them a good while to try and push this.
Already going to get forced so early on there, and huge save there from Fishka onto Stan. And right now, once again, the conch going to come in as they're going to get put passively into their own aggressive stance there, the offending team. But Utmost and Almost defending it, yeah, going to soak this defensive aggression quite up quite nicely. And right now, fully charged batteries for the Samsung Galaxy gang going to walk forward with their full batteries and probably even going to take the second point finally.
Yeah, eventually the pressure's enough. Like, again, like, they kind of just went a bit more forwards on the hill, kind of died, and then they get out of sync deaths and they have to reset. But even still, 6 minutes for the first 2 points, they're going to be pretty happy with that.
You can just see how high the probable highest capping time here is, since you have so much time to eke this out honestly on the defensive stance onto any sort of points here, and they're not giving this up right now. Vision is feeling so comfortable that they want to hold forward, but Stan doesn't expect the flank to come this aggressive into him. He didn't have any support.
Yeah, like Stan and Boffers dying here is pretty big throw, not gonna lie. Yeah, Deltas goes down as well. Pyro runs out of ammo, I think. Conor blasts him back. Like, that was just a weird throw from Envision. I don't know why they played like that. From a combo perspective, I was mentioning this before. Like, combo really needs to try and step up and be a bit more smart about how they're playing, but it just didn't really happen there, unfortunately. Nice stuff coming from Yokas there onto the cart, but they've still got their med here and their demo and their scout. They can just try and pressure this quite easily, and they're still waiting for their spawn, and the gun's not even up either.
Really, really good turnaround there from Jorge as the call came in for the spy, and Jorge once again has the sewer because he picked up the defensive medic's medigun, and while it was on 60 percentage, they're going to tick down slowly, but he instantly took it up. So right now has this 50% advantage, usually the heads-up play that you'd expect on this sort of level of play, but Semi being so far forward, maybe they wanted even to pop this Uber to not lose their heavy and their demo man in a tower there. It is going to give the defensive route time to also get their own Uber up, as right now Kafka is going to get stepped down there on the side. You really want to get any sort of picks before a potential Uber push. They still have this little small advantage, but they're probably not going to get any sort of progress out of that, but they're going to pop in right now. He's only 97%, but going to pop it responsively.
Yeah, decent play from Sneaky there as well. Managed to get him behind the sniper, actually managed to chase him all the way to get Stinkhand and then sap the gun. So Nexus pressure, like, so much better. Here you go, Blur's on full health, just walking forward here. There's literally nothing stopping them from coming in here. They got some pressure from 2 players, but that's about it. Everyone else on the cart. And there we go, that is exactly what Envision needed to do before, but they just didn't ever do it through the main spot. And there we go, 8 minutes, eventually capping out.
Also decent heads-up play that I call out there for Jorge. He picked up the medigun. As an outsider, maybe these days of ETF2L routes, when I would see this sort of play as a, as a defending team there, or as the opposite team, I would maybe ask the admins if that's even allowed. I mean, apparently it is to just pick up the medigun like this. I thought it was sort of cup only related, but it managed to help them to get quicker onto this point. It also enabled them to get all these frags that were lying around, and just showed them how they should have pushed it sort of on the first round there. Focus on some players to go down, but definitely get all your players on this card, going to push it alongside each other in, and right now they're on the rise, the Samsung Galaxy gang, and I can already tell you why, because not only the sales are quite high for Samsung, no, the trade quality is quite high for them as well, since they're taking these fights together. And on the second point and on the third point consecutively, they had, oh no, well, not on the third point, but on the second point, they definitely had a quite good defensive stance. So they're in the dictating mood so far, as the gate's going to open up for the Samsung Galaxy gang. And I mixed them up. It was Envision playing quite nicely, but you know, you get the analogy.
It's right, we'll forgive you. It's right. No one of this. No worries. But yeah, here we go. Got a defense coming out now from SDG, as yeah, kind of Rambo opting for the same gun position on top of this crate. To see if the stack comes in. Kapka in a bit early, ahead of his demo, but yeah, immediately gets picked up as they're gonna try and push this cart in. But I don't think they're really too bothered, as yeah, there we go, gun gets picked up and Rambo is going to just run back. They're trying to keep their Uber for the second point, but yeah, I'll be interested to see if they can just sort of eke out the time on second again. I mean, Envision's push on second was not that great last time, and yeah, I feel like that needs to be the strength really for FDG.
Seems to be sort of the core time here, though. I would say around 7 or 8 minutes seems quite reasonable to push this map, so Envision should feel some confidence pushing into this, but Rambo so wrangling his sentry gun from afar completely denies any sort of ground from this main tracks area, from this crest hill area as well, and the side flank is going to get controlled quite nicely there by Sneaky. Gets a pick onto the offensive or defensive rather, offensive soldier, going to sort of nuke them away, though Stan is so far in here already and is going to get a stickies forward. Doesn't really have any sort of heals, but tries to finally pressure them out.
I guess the huge dispenser bit there. around that corner. As Rambo managed to get his gun out instead, but here we go. We're going to try and pressure the Taunt now, trying to eventually pressure this cart, but they get some decent frags here actually. Bath is going down. No offensive spy either to try and sap this gun for an early push in, so might delay them slightly, but yeah, Rambo actually didn't have a level 3. I thought he managed to get level 3 out, but he's going to have to rebuild that again, unfortunately. But so I'm trying to take the boxes, 1v1 sniper, re-sniper over the top of the hill. You're going to try and peek at the same time. Never mind, they're going to just try and back away, but yeah. Either way, trying to pressure the hill as much as they possibly can.
Now you know why this team is called Envision, because everyone was in the vision of Stingen there, but he wasn't able to pop any sort of heads there. Trying to go from the side tunnel right now, though, going to exchange on this side mines area. Stan is sort of walking forward a bit more progressively. The Uber duration were quite equal. Durations were quite equal. Semi is still controlling this side of flank. They once again tried to rotate out. Dima or Kafka even was on the shed area, didn't really get anything done there really, and once again a push nullified.
Yeah, Sneak coming in with a decent stab onto the sniper, and then Revolvering Kepka on the roof as Nucci gets a headshot. So Assassin class is doing a lot of work as well for SDG so far, as Blur opting for a bit of a forward position here with the medic and the demo coming forwards as well. So they've actually been doing this kind of forward corner hole quite a lot. And again, Sneak gets Stingan. Jesus, they have to like escort this man. Like, what is going on? Having the sniper out for so long is so good, especially on the high ground positions. And Nucci's definitely making use of it, trying to peek as much as he can.
Envision struggling right now as well, though, going to just push the second point here. The SGG team is also getting this forward hold quite so well on, but Stingen probably going to put an end to that. Kafka tries to synchronize his rockets there and fly forward as Pijaka going to go onto Balthus there just in the nick of time, going to get flashed the heavy against the scout right now, going to distract some eyes and point of view. Stan though taking this taking this push into his hands and the pills into Jorge.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that Uber from Jorge. I mean, he did pretty good with his Ubers and his flashes, but I mean, not only did he use he had to kind of use to save his players, but then his post-Uber positioning, like, he didn't really run out as far. He didn't save his heavy with his Uber either. Like, he kind of just got ran out by the offensive Uber, and now he's dead. So yeah, gotta try and come back in here. Barth is getting very aggressive here, trying to head peek this on the little concrete platform. As Del goes down very weak as well. Gets a nice arrow though from Jorge, so trying to redeem himself with some arrows here. Getting some pressure back in onto this hill. Cart's still far back here. Dima again with a conch. Doing his best to try and defend this, and they're gonna kind of stabilize for now, I think.
Quite derpy play. Semi went down to reflected pipe from himself, but they weren't able to even capitalize off all that much, since then again the flank came in with a conch. Sam is going to fall. Dima on a 7k. Taking the defense into his hands, dying right now, though still being on a 10-second respawn, but Deity also trying to control this corner. You're going to get Jugget absolutely in the open, but he has a flamethrower and he has Mouse 2 also not unbound as Blur tries to walk forward. He has so much damage. Fishka getting backstepped as well. Did he have Uber? No. I just saw that.
No shot! They capped that. Oh my god. They basically wiped the team and then someone comes in and caps it in the last second. I think that was A6 potentially, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty good to actually cap that there because it saves them walking all the way back. So that was pretty impactful. That might end up being round changing potentially. Loads of people going down here. Jorge does importantly live with his Uber though, and Rambo gets his level 3 up as well, so these are pretty critical for the defense here. They've got 3 minutes left. It's just chill now. I think SDG not get overconfident.
Jorge is sort of a scavenger there, as he just picked up the offensive medigun of the offensive medic. They had 60% on it. Right now though, they're just going to pressure from this orange room so far forward. Still have this Uber, but Jorge is forced to pop it responsively to save his demo man, to save even his dignity, maybe for the team, as Deity walks forward, gets some flame damage in, but Fishka right now has a full 100%. Crit streak is going to get used right now onto Stan. So much damage forward, but gets denied ultimately.
Oh, Blue and Sammy trying to go in there to kill the medic, but I mean, fortunately they get enough picks here. It's just Sam on the car there. They do have their heals there. They should be okay. Capcom tries to bomb the medic, and Nutri actually getting 2 headshots there. Coming in close to try and maybe save the round a bit, but they've got 2 minutes here. It's not the be-all, end-all for Envision, but yeah, getting very close here. A lot of pressure, even more so from Envision.
Nutricula is so healthy and fully buffed because his Nutri score must be so high. He's popping these heads, he's getting the damage in Stan is going to get scared out there of the orange room right now though, but they are trying to build this Kritzkrieg charge up, this Kritzkrieg advantage that usually play around is not really into play, as 80% advantage on the Uber stakes there for Jorge on the defensive stance. So the offensive team has to get more emphasis onto getting these players down rather than trying to force the enemy medic as they're walking through the side area right now. Kafka is going to fall, though the Spy also going to get a spotted. Dima really cratering there, and the defense is looking strong for now.
Yeah, Blow has some clutch sort of rotation there to actually turn around for the Spy as well, so picking up those 2 frags, going to be rotating to this right side. I think this kind of was a bit too telegraphed. Laser beams though, into a sentry going to triangle. Nice bomb from Kafka though, even better reflect from Delt though. Picks him off and return Uber comes in. I'm not sure whether this is needed. This is a really kind of late Uber. Jerka's actually on the car here, trying to cap it out, gets flamed down though. Nutri's frontlining on Sniper. Everyone's just together now. People need to try and regroup their positions. 50 seconds left, it's still a long time.
Sam is going to walk
What is going on?
They flanked it so well. They're on the early bumps, and especially on this early cap time, even going to force them out. Jorge is so weak, he's going to get met, but Tercio saves the second round there for his team. Wonderfully set up there by the flank. They came in, they snuck that card absolutely for free in. Jorge was so scared, he just popped it onto Instinct there to save the card, but they were all scrambled out
There
there,
was
really.
so many misplays SGG there. I think it was just panic setting in. Like, not only did Jorge kind of use like a bit delayed in response to the crits, like, and it was laser beams as well. I don't know if they feared the demo peek in it, but like they could have just kited that behind cover and the gun as well that was still alive. So I don't know, maybe Envision have just warmed up, who knows?
So, as I was already proposing, the winning team here will get a 4-2 on the score lines, but the losing team will also get 2 points right now.
I mean, personally, I don't know. I feel like Envision's probably warmed up now because they sometimes do this. I've seen them do this in the past. It's kind of like
throwing or what?
No, I don't know. Sometimes throwing, sometimes like maybe just remembering what they should be doing at a time. Especially on a map like Vigil, where it's maybe not as played as much, but obviously people have been scrimming this, so that's not really an excuse. And they can kind of just adapt to whatever the team's doing. Like they notice an individual doing a certain play, and it kind of just goes from there. So I don't know. I feel like they're maybe warmed up. We'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, this is the third and final round of PL Vigil here with the SGG Samsung Galaxy Gang versus Envision. Currently it is 1-1, and yeah, it's bit of a faster push coming in from SGG on the first round, only having to cap the third point, not even having to cap last. But yeah, a bit of a 50-second or less push on the last remaining for Envision, as I pointed out earlier. So let's see if they can kind of take that win momentum forwards, or whether SGG feel that confidence boost from actually contesting Envision at all, and see if they can pull it out. But yeah, I'll have to see how it goes from here. But Sammy is very aggressive at the start here, I'm noticing.
Therefore, SGG, since they were able to push it the fastest, were able to choose what side they will be on the third round. So they opted for the defense first, mirroring the first round that they won, and maybe once again want to get the psychological warfare and the dent in the armor of Envision, since struggling on 1 point seemed to put them into a bit of a disarray, though Sammy is going to, as you pointed that out, put a stickies there into sort of cheeky routes. There are no presets really onto these sticky traps and sticky placements onto this Vigil map so far. I think he's just putting them onto the banana really openly, detonating them. Didn't even have crits for them, but right now putting it onto the crest of the hill, some sort of 10 to 20 second downtime, really, as they're going to get it pushed in, but Stingen opens up all the space by getting Deity sort of down. Pyro early on going down as we unpause quite so soon here, and Deity sort of still down, just respawning now, but Stan not being alive to jump in and to sort of offer this explosive damage that the Pyro can't deny, but he's getting onto the field right now. Kafka is going to take so far forward. These rockets are on point.
Wow, that was a lucky juggle there from Kafka, not gonna lie, on those rockets. Like they got them knocked back like perfectly, and managed to get the sniper there. So pretty huge picks to try and push this hill. So I have to say they come in here. Uber gets traded out. It seems as they're gonna just sort of have it solo demo on the defense. Sort of flashing. Oh, Mega's juggle in the air though. Oh, he might get a bit. Oh, he gets air blasted back though. Pushback. That was a bit of a weird transition there, but yeah, a bit of a struggle on the hill it seems, but I have to try and reset for now.
Vigil second seems to be a jump map, as he's going surf map rather, as he's just surfing around there, and they sort of almost overcommitted there with their Ubers. Stayed so far in, but had better, just better Uber management there really, since they only had to solo onto Semi. But Blur is getting blurred out of the picture. Nutrikiller is still being aggressive, also getting a headshot into the offensive, Demoman. No, sorry, Blur was on the defensive stance. So the defense is so much weak, and Stan wants to walk forward here. Deity also going to get cleaned up there, but Barthus, this gun is also just mincemeat there, or even going to get pulled out there. Nutrikiller, the only one really contesting this area on the tracks, but they have given it up.
Yeah, much better push in here from Vision. I mean, that was kind of sparked by the earlier trade, I feel like, because, yeah, it was just like, it was a bit too far forward. They weren't ready with the flank players either, or the gun, so that kind of got pushed rid of it as well, I think. But Sam is going to be trying to push this cart right now as the Nutri and Sneaky and Hoy. I didn't even see Hoy go down there. What on earth? So they don't have a med for this defense either right now.
And Fishka has this full 100% advantage. Right now, the ball is definitely in the court of Envision once again. The card is not this far up and not this much of a prolific situation, but they're going to pop the Uber. Get absolutely denied there, really, but going to chase them out. Semi is just watching this Uber. No man, 1v1 there, really, but Stan going to pipe the pill and get the pill there into his hard counter, but who cares about hard counters? Honestly, Semi is so far committed out, so they just took the third point so easily.
Sneaky managed to serve Kapka's rockets to safety as they managed to get his get the spy frag there. But yeah, really fast push here. Less than 3 minutes for 3 points. Gonna be feeling pretty happy about that. Nutri goes down again, getting spammed out by Stan. I don't know how that happened. Kapka bombing the gun. Absolute Chad Brave player there, it seems, but not gonna be finding anything from it, as they're still waiting for their sniper to spawn. Hoy does that for 100% though, luckily for this defense, so it might be a bit of a saving grace here. And also Rambo does obviously have that level 3. And there we go, Nutri managed to get the frag onto Stinger, so gonna delay the push in here, I think, slightly. Give them time to stabilize as Sammy is trying to spam the main.
Fishka got a bit cautious there. He almost peeked the sniper sideline himself, but saw his own sniper sort of checking the sideline there for him. Both medics once again have this full Uber advantage, so the next Uber exchange is going to be very imminent there. Dima is going to get pressured out, not dying from that, but still no pop. Really, Yorkas getting an early scout frag there on the flank, maybe opening this up. Post Uber and post Uber positioning is definitely the way to go here on this last map ever we've seen before, as the Uber comes in way earlier there out of the offense, going to get countered there from the defense.
Yeah, Blow with a nice turner axe managed to get Yorkas as he was trying to coordinate with his soldiers, maybe try and pressure in there, but yeah, just gonna be none the wiser to that as yeah, Cart, yeah, as you mentioned, kind of getting pressured here. They managed to sort of walk to Orange Room, but they're gonna be backing out right now, not deciding to take the aggressive stance there. I mean, they don't have an Uber as they just traded, but gonna try to stabilize the aggro gun here. Interestingly enough, from Rambo, trying to deny main slightly a bit more around a sort of diagonal corner, but yeah, Cart is slowly rolling back.
Right now we're once again reaching this predetermined breaking point of Envision, as they're going to get chased out here. Absolute munch there, really, on the front flank. Once again, the aggressive push out. Fishka crucially surviving, but almost everyone dying there around him.
Yeah, I mean, just they didn't really manage to push too far because of Axis' gun, but it doesn't manage to get spammed out. But yeah, decent conch coming out from Dima again as he's rocking that pretty well so far, especially for this last defense as well. It'll be kind of hard for them to try and come in here, but Kapka going to be trying to bomb in over the top, trying to pressure out the scout. Need to try and get a good sight line for Sting here, I think, because it's going to be pretty much their only option coming in here. I mean, they've got the Uber, but again, it's a trade. Stinghand goes down to Sneaky again with the stabs. They need to protect their sniper. Like, he's in the middle of like 4 players there. I don't know how that happened.
Once again, predetermined breaking point that I called out earlier. They're pushing in right now. They don't really have any sort of players forward. Was that a force?
Yeah, but Jacka just managed to run round. Like, they don't have a gun to deny that. He just managed to get 2 shots into the mid. Del just runs down the mid as well. The W key now, as a Pyro does, and it's kind of still falling apart here as, yeah, Hoy manages to live as well. He'll be keen on the rest of his players. Kapka again, but he manages to get Hoy! Huge last rocket from Kapka. I don't know how that happened.
Stinghand still sort of tries to free peek off the back end of that, but Dima is going to also juggle Sam out. Yorka is going to get clopped down there by a melee weapon by Nutrikiller, getting a 5k. Body shots. All I need are body shots to kill the enemy sniper. Who needs headshots? I mean, you just want to get the frags. You need to get the frags. It's where Barthel is staying so far forward here with the Fist of Steel and Stan feeding. Post-factually, I mean, if he survived, you know, no feed.
Oh my god, that... sorry to drop. I just realized that tele from Rambo is actually just like on the kind of wall, and it just teleports him to immediately to the corner box right next to the doorway. That is so smart, actually, especially for like a Thomas Lab heavy like Blur's doing. So they've definitely got their strats figured out here. It seems SGG looking very comfortable in the full setup with all their buildings. Got their Uber sort of building as well, but I mean, actually small Labs of Fish right now, but they haven't been able to really effectively use that in their pushes. Like they're just getting kind of wrapped entirely by Dima and Bajaka like constantly.
SGG are in this to win this, since they got so many frags. Then with their sort of cheeky strategies on the side flank, really, especially with the teleporter that you also pointed out, so they don't really get any sort of advantageous position on Envision yet. They get Blur down there. Sam is going to clean the heavy out of this side area, so they still have to get their heads into the game, though Nitricula is just farming them right now.
And Stings alone, yeah, gets picked off by 3 players there, like Sneaky, Dima, and Delts come in with that push to try and clear out the sniper. They've got to deal with this level 3. Goes down very low, but they don't get it. Like, they have to use their entire Uber to kill the gun. Jerker's in a bit late. Does manage to somehow revolver down Rambo in the middle of that, and they can't get rid of the Sapper on the gun, so because of no home wrecker. And Blur's going for a bit of a flank play. They lose 4 here. I don't know whether they're kind of a bit throwing now. SGG has to clean the car. Oh my god.
Dima is in and absolutely put everyone into his pocket.
What
No one is going to leave the server.
I didn't even see that. I just saw the kill feed. He's just like owning the kill feed completely. But there we go. I mean, who needs Black Box when you got another Rocket from Original that's going to spam them all down apparently? So and yeah, he definitely hasn't lost it as well. Dima, a long-time Soldier player, as I'm sure a lot of people know. So definitely showing his prowess right here in this game.
Amazing read there as
wow.
well, since they got so weak. He just walked through this sort of orange room and flanked them from behind. Sammy is going to fall right now. I feel like Envision have to take this sort of flank area there, maybe with their combo, to get some loose frags and tie those loose ends up to even get this into the last point. Since the card is rolling back, they haven't really managed to get any sort of ground to when they walked through this left side area. But right now, as I call it, they're doing it with the crit streak, big crit streak onto Nitricula, but going to get countered right now with Deity on the defensive stance.
Yeah, he just was like bombing there with his with the detonator, but they get the start. Like, yeah, this is the problem. Del kind of left the gun alone. Rambo's gun goes down, and now they're only 2 up.
But the card! They need to push the card, but I mean, wow, definitely deserved right there. Cheeky crits from the side flank, collected all the frags, made them scared, made them completely cast into disarray and spiral down into disarray. So
I mean,
8-39.
The weird thing about that was the fact that they only got Nutri and then they used. So I feel like if they just kind of played around the gun, like, you know, crits isn't good into sentry guns. So if they just play around the gun, play around their pyro, they would have been relatively safe. They had like positioning behind them. They could have like kited back to the spawn or like around the corner of the spawn, like even without their sniper to counter their own sniper. I'm pretty sure their flank was still alive as well in the back lines, or like trying to push them out at least. So, I don't know, positioning was just a bit off there, SGG, maybe caught in a bit of a panic, so can't really blame him for that, as, yeah, I mean, decent sort of heads-up play, I guess, to just switch to the crits, try something out that's new, and managed to push in the last. But, I mean, yeah, they had 248-ish, I think, for the first 3 points. It took them like a solid 6 minutes just to get that last point, so, yeah, really struggling with that last push, it seems.
Seems to be a decent time after all though, but as you pointed it out, probably not the optimal split of time onto each point. Sort of 240 for the first 3 and then afterwards sort of 7 minutes there for the last point. You also have to account into the uncertainty there being on the defense, since when you hear the call of the crits coming in, you have so many obstacles. They are omnipresent on this last point, so you don't really see any sort of crit sticky early on as a medic. You have to have your pyro close or have clear calls on where they are pushing from, so you always have to count that in. All these players are, even though sometimes it doesn't seem like it, humans, so you can get the psychological warfare in, yet they lose Barthas once again early on with this little teleporter strategy as well, I think.
Yeah, it's gonna be getting picked off there. Sneaky gonna be taking care of that. As never mind! Even more frags! He gets the medic! How does that happen? What on earth? He just gets... what? Okay, it's fine. He just got huge there, it seems. Just wander down the hill and kill like 2 people in the middle of an entire team. Okay, that cannot be happening in Prem. That is just wild.
Well, that is one for the highlight reel right there, and one to put yourself maybe on to the top 3 spies down the end of the season. We have to see. Usually though, Sam is going to snag forward. Nitricula sort of tunnel visioning as sniped, not only visibly but also metaphorically do sometimes as he was scoped in, but right now the push is going to come in. They have this full Uber advantage thing and going to get stepped down as well. The gun is mincemeat. Essex dying as well. They're still trapped this sort of side tunnel about this. wants to gun out a lot of players, but I think this second point should probably be of quite short-lived. They have to get more emphasis onto this card, but everyone is walking from these tracks area.
Nushu's in a melee fight with Barton. Barton doesn't gonna win that one out. But yeah, Blur is just kind of on the side, like kind of rotates and pressure Capra out through the tunnel, and then you just back onto the tracks, head peeking that sort of wooden stair balcony area, and yeah, gonna be sort of round that one up with his team. So super quick push for these first 2 points, and definitely gives them a lot of momentum going forwards there.
If they push the third point in the next 20 seconds, then they also push it in around 240, so they only have to push the last point in 650, and then they might even win that off that. So the predetermined breaking point is still ahead of them, as Sammy is trying to spam it out there really, and a aggressive sentry gun was pulled back there by Essex, only level 2 right now, but they are sort of in a very interesting hold right here.
Yeah. I'm not sure about this hold. I mean, it's pretty spammable if you ask me. I mean, all they're going to do is rotate for the far angles. They don't have control of these far angles like at all. Yurkus is trying to comment, but yeah, kind of bumps into the spy there. Kind of unfortunate for Sneaky managed to get out though. But yeah, Stingan goes down again. Like there we go, gets spammed out completely. Don't have their sniper, and without their sniper here to try and deny the counter sniper onto the demo, like it's going to be quite hard. And here we go as well, like the tunnel rotation coming from under from the soldier and the heavy. But yeah, Uber gets kind of traded here in a bit of an awkward situation.
They pop much later, yet they lose their pyro, and they are forced to rotate into defensive positions. I'm 100% sure that the medic is not a fan of this forward. What is he so blindsided? Dima's onto him. The third rocket is not going to ring out. No, Fishka still hit. He gets saved there. So many weird just fights going in, but it's going to give and hand them this third point right now, as they're just all clumped up onto this. But the defensive medic surviving definitely as a heads-up play there. He was sort of blindsided there when they held forward, but after that they rotated to defensive positions. Dima definitely showing how brittle this third defense though can be.
Yeah, they weren't really grouped at all. I don't know why Barthas was like still on the far side of the map there, like just not with his team, and then they didn't have enough people to protect the gun or the medic for that matter, but he somehow managed to live there. But even if he does live, like he's still on disad. So here we go, yeah, as I say that, Uber comes in immediately, we're just double kicking into this gun. It's taken a long time to kill Asus' gun in fairness, but managed to pick him off in the end. But I mean, they're trying to delay the cart with his Sam. And they're just trying to get the players back in here, but I mean the damage is kind of already done-ish, but the return Uber comes in kind.
They can work off that, and they're having quite a good read right now, just going to walk forward, get some loose frags as well. Only 30% really advantage, but Tursu feeding in a bit unexpected there. Blur from the side flank as well, still staying around this corner, around this observatory, how this map location is called apparently. And anyway, though, Blur is still chilling on this health pack, and sort of Stan almost gets baited into the offensive scout there right now, but Blur getting stabbed by Yorka. So 4.5 minutes, I only have to delay it for 2 seconds, and it is 4:20 now. Fantastic.
Oh,
anyway,
for God's sake. That's so much effort. Just to set off, but yeah, again, Dima's going to be trying to return to the orange room. Yeah, pretty much. Orange room position as the gun. Again, backup phase looks trying to deny the Uber as much as possibly can. Actually managed to kill Sammy there on his way out. They're trying to tell the car. Another bomb in from Dima, but managed to get the NG. The Cristana loose players though, they do have better spawns in this offense. This might favour them quite heavily.
They have to play around this gun. This gun's quite weak. Blur has to also get cleaned up. They have only 5 seconds really to play here until their respawners come up. The cart is not up this little ramp, so they still have the time to play this, and they once again pop this Uber. That is right now their advantage. They have to take care of Yurkas. The Dead Ring are going to only get struggled out there of the orange room, and Sting and Nutricula are still in a sniper versus sniper showdown, but the Stickies come in onto Stinger.
Yeah, Sting's like in front of his entire team there. I don't know why he wasn't just like postured like sort of behind, but either way, gonna be Sneaky just sapping everything on his way through, causing a bit of chaos as yeah, Dima again jumping out there. I mean, Cost sort of slowly rolling back here. Tertius doing his best to just try and deny them through this corner, but there's a lot of people here that are gonna try and deny, and they're 3 down. Stinger only just getting a spawn in. Jorge actually on an advantage again as they just wait for the Uber. I feel this is a bit early from Dima, like you could just wait for the Uber and they could have come back in here with a pretty good push, but I mean they're going to go in anyway after Dima did a lot of damage to the gun.
They still have this 30% advantage. They don't even have any Uber to respond there defensively. They only get some players right now on this card though, but the defense is probably going to have very good positions after all. Only Deity really on this card, but getting a free flag.
Oh my God!
This thing, and so much scrap fighting here on this card, but they eventually get the Uber. So close there. nail-bitingly close, popping it onto Turf to
Three.
clean everything up. Only Blur really has to take it into his hands. The card is so far up, but all the defensive players are still alive.
Oh, Asus' gun though, it's pretty clutch there. They had 3 people alive, but Asus' gun was actually just about alive with the consistent, the level 1, persistence of the level 1. But yes, Smiley gets caught out as well. Nice turnaround from Barthes to catch him out. Scout goes down. They're all just kind of feeding into Barthes as Thomas level on the cart is trying to deny it best he can. 2 minutes left. There's only 2 people alive. They managed to get the med in the back as well as Nucci goes down 2. But
It is
yeah,
clutch
now they've got
time.
a big ad as well. This is pretty big.
The card is going to roll down in a second, and Crit Streak is right now used by Jorge, so they want to mix this up once again. They want to have an unexpected Crit Streak into this last point. Dima is going to spam them early on there from the orange room. Stan is going to take a bit of damage, going to force him out into a passive position, but it is clutch time. It is so far forward here.
Sammy.
Demo 1v1 at MGE orange room.
Yeah, like Sammy going down there is going to delay them even further here. So really well played by Stan to sort of win that one out. As Dima going to be just trying to contest around the side as Kapka's also in orange room with his conch popped. But maybe a bit of an early conch there actually. I feel like he could have maybe waited until the last push came in. Would have enabled his team even more so. But you got the flanks kind of waiting around there. Sneaky getting picked up though.
Sneaky Airpad and the drop is going to come in there.
Oh,
Defensive
no!
medic, the crit streak is going to clean him up. The crits works out like a charm. This time around, they're going to clean everyone up down the
So
side.
weak.
Coffee area.
Oh my
you probably
God.
need coffee for your nerves afterwards. But Stan with a 6k as well, so
Bruh.
much damage. The card is still neglected on this checks area, but the cheeky crit's going to come in. Yoka's only really onto Remusor on this flank area, and they want to ruin my nerves right now as they have sort of struggled to have the follow-up on this card. It was so far away once again.
Yeah, that was a great rotation coming from Stan there. Really just a big heads up play. Like, it's good that he got his head in the game, like slowly more and more here. As yeah, I mean, when you're gonna walk into a doorway like that into a demo, especially with all his sticks loaded, like yeah, you're just gonna get absolutely mulched, and it's pretty much just what happened to SDG. So yeah, big heads up play by him. Also, A6's gun as well. A6 has been pretty clutch here, and again, he's kind of just trying to wrangle people down here.
They've really the
Gun's
drive
taking
push.
forever. 10
They're
seconds on the
all
card.
the players on the card, but Sval not going to know the card, the final
Oh my
vein,
God.
the little ramp. It is going to roll down. It is going to be the GGs. They're going to call it out Envision, showing their prowess, but wow, I mean, if people want to criticize this map, they can, but not criticize this game. This was definitely as close as that can get.
That was a fun watch in the end, I was going to say. Like I said before, 4-2 isn't really going to give the whole story of that game because you'd have to watch for yourself some of the clutch plays that came out, really. Well, wrapping it up, I'm just going to say that Envision obviously going to get their third win of their sort of 3-win streak in the season so far. So we're feeling pretty happy with themselves. I think they're going to be feeling even better that they didn't like just completely throw as well after losing a round to SGG. So you know that confidence boost for them going forward means that they haven't completely lost it even on a map like Vigil. Follow to the channel, subscribe if you want to support us even further. And we have some very interesting merch for you to check out as well. And also, keep eyes peeled for more Highlander action as well, as the season is nowhere near over. So make sure you stick around for Critscast news and our Twitter feed to see when the game's going to go live. But thank you everyone for watching this evening. I've been Buck. We'll see you again next time.
Hi, old beaver! Away!